Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome along to the 6th round of the 2022 International Sim Drivers Association GT3 World Challenge Spring Series. We are here a very, very soggy Suzuka this evening. So fingers crossed everybody can stay up to speed on this very, very fast and quite challenging circuit. It's quite a long circuit, got plenty of corners to obviously tackle, some real fast flying corners, nowhere really to have a breather. So hopefully these guys can do it, and if anyone can, it is the ISDA boys. So qualifying has just begun. We are currently keeping an eye on Shoot. Car number 13, that Lexus, so looks like he's lining himself up for a flying lap. You can see just how much water is sitting on the circuit at the moment. So here we go, coming across the line. This will be the first of his flyers, I believe. So we'll stick on board with him for a moment, racing for Team Astra. Obviously being wet, slightly different lines being taken. You notice avoiding the curbs as much as possible. So obviously where it's wet, if you run into one of those, immediately you're going to get stung. Bravely taking the curbs here though. Coming now through, I believe it's called the anti-banked curve. It's very, very odd corner names here at Suzuka. This is Dunlop. It's long. It's almost double apex left-hander. Coming down hard on the brakes into Ghana. Again, this is going to be the kind of place we're going to see people make mistakes, and it's a very good overtaking opportunity. Then coming up towards the hairpin. So again, hard the brakes, swinging it all the way to the left. Goes a bit wide on the apex there. Rolling on the throttle, you can hear the traction control cutting him furiously as he tries to get the power down. Flat out all the way through 130R. Sorry, 200R, my apologies. Hard on the brakes, swinging it left through the spoon. Another weird double apex here. You're going to probably see some varied lines from people. Rolling on the throttle, trying to get as much power as possible down the back straight. This should be the kind of place that the Lexus can do what it needs to do. And now here comes 130R. How brave is he going to be? Ooh, good chunk of brakes used there. Definitely a little bit of a concerted lap, I would say, taking it a little bit steady, trying not to dirty it, put a time on the board, then go for gold. Here we go, pushing hard now. Here we go, going to cross the line. What sort of time are we looking at? So a 2:10 at the moment is our fastest lap. Oh no, Vancoli immediately coming in with a 2:09. So just managing to take pole position away immediately. And there you go, Dakuza putting in another 209.250. So the Porsche going well here. The times are going to pour in pretty quickly, I would imagine. Just see the way that just taking the slightest amount of curb could slightly help the car rotate as they come through. But a bit busy old track here at Suzuka tonight. 23 cars on the track at the moment. And as you can see, it is a very, very soggy circuit. There's no damp. That is 100% wet. Oh, a little bit of a slide, but he manages to hold it together. This is looking like quite a tidy lap, to be fair. Runs all the way out to the outside. He just about held on to it, I think. There we go, Bouillon. Oh, I think he just pushed too hard. And I don't imagine this is going to be an improvement after that lock-up into the hairpin. So the majority of the grid now have put in lap times. Doyle with a really good time there, currently our leading AM driver. Doyle currently third in the championship overall in the AM standings. Or you could see Dakuza sawing at the wheel, desperate to keep the thing up going straight. You would think the Porsche would be pretty good for out corners in wet. You think it would put in that extra weight at the back would have helped it, but no, not at all. And that's definitely gone out wide. That's definitely dirtied that lap. So we knew it wasn't going to be an improvement, but that's definitely not one. So on board with Noble now. In the baked bean machine. A beautiful McLaren. He's coming across to finish his lap now. Is there an improvement by him? 11th place at the moment. Finish line's a long way down the straight here. Up into 10th. It's a small improvement. Gets himself inside the top 10. It's a great livery on that car. Oh, and he actually bails out. Whether that was intentional or not, not sure, but he decided to give it a rest. Who have we got? Van Coley, who very, very briefly stole pole place and is now actually being pushed all the way down to 4th. I just noticed that Miksic has put himself up into 3rd place. So that's Marco. All back on board with Van Coley. Again, you can see the BMW is really confident over those curbs. Huge chunks of inside curb being taken. Let's see what happens here under braking. Fantastic camera. Oh, ACC does have some slightly obscure camera choices sometimes. It really does have a bit of a wobble from time to time. So don't know how he did through the chicane, through the hairpin, sorry, but hopefully he did well. Hammers through 200R up towards the spoon. So again, bit of a strange double apex here. A little bit wide there, but that might be alright. The BMW's got plenty of grunt out the turns. 4th place at the moment. Is it going to be an improvement this time round? So on board as he heads down to 130R. All the way to the outside. I think he even may have had a tyre on the grass. Trying to make that corner as straight as possible. Hammers on the brakes. A little bit deep maybe there on the entrance, but doesn't seem too shaken. Again, you can hear the traction control fighting to put the power down. Now that final drag to the line. What are we going to get here? Is another improvement possible? Not this time round. Stays in 4th place on the grid. Again, bails out of this lap. We did see it a couple of times where people did seem to go a little bit oh, here we go. Mex coming off the end of his lap. Did really well at Zolder last week. I think he, at the very beginning of the race, he was very, very dominant. He ended up dropping down the order slightly towards the end of the race, I believe. I will double check my results in a moment. But currently running in 17th place. Straight up into 6th place. Great improvement from him. He'll be pleased with that. Putting himself on the 3rd row. That's a really good effort. So back on board with Miksic. Let's see what we can do here. So, oh no, and he's gone deep. There we go. This is the problem with that Porsche. It's got no weight over the front wheels. You really struggle, especially in wet conditions. Right, on board with Borovic now. Car number 22. Another lovely looking BMW. Is there any improvement here? Currently running in 7th. Yes, up into 4th. Great improvement for him as well. Great looking car. So throws it into turn 1 and gets on the power, and these S's that they do get quicker and quicker as you go through. They're not slightly longer turns every time, but it's very, very difficult to not overdo it and end up going deep. If you miss any of the apexes, you're in trouble. So staying on board with Borovic. It's really hard to not get overexcited and put your foot down, because if you get on the throttle too soon, you've got an opposite turn coming up. It's fighting the oversteer. Quite a tight line here for Borovic the whole way through. So hard on the brakes, good chunk of inside curb there. Runs all the way out to the outside on the left, and then another huge chunk of curb there as he takes the right-hander. Is he going to try and stay flat here? Ooh, I think he just got off the throttle on the apex and then got on the brakes for the hairpin. See, really nice tidy line there. Doesn't go all the way to the right, just decides to keep it in the middle of the circuit so we can swing it back in for 200R. and then letting the BMW stretch its legs all the way up to Spoon Curve. We've got the brakes now, swinging it through the Spoon. And again, a sort of strange double apex turn, seeing quite a lot of this wide line coming from people, but obviously in the wet it seems to work. Plenty of exit curb. Thundering up the back straight. What can be done here at 130R? Got to be brave, but don't want to dirty a lap. Obviously already in fourth, but going for it now. Big chunk of inside curb. Keeps it well within the lines. 2 corners to go. A right and a left. Brilliantly thrown in there. Not too deep. Good chunk there. It's a long right-hander as he stretches towards the line. I may have forgotten about this corner a moment ago. Is there any improvement? What have we got here? No improvement this time round. Again, sticks in fourth place for the moment. It seems like people that were out to qualify early put in great times and not many improvements from that point onwards. But looks like he's still out and pushing hard. Obviously knows he can go quicker. So having a look at where Borovic sits in the championship. Where is Borovic sitting? I'm being very, very blind here, aren't I? So, Borovic currently running in 9th place in the championship. He's had to be fair, not because of results, just he hasn't been able to attend quite a few of the races. So, 3 results lost there. So on board with Doyle, who is running Aidan Doyle, 8th in the championship overall. Had a reasonably mixed bag of a season. Now he's had 1 podium finish, a 2nd place in round 3. But obviously looking to, get his way back up a bit higher on the old championship points. They're currently running in 22nd on the grid, but I imagine that's more to do with possibly not putting that many laps in. You see there is a bit of a dry line when you're up here in the helicam. There is a slight dry line, but it's not much. So here we go. What's he done? 10th place, massive improvement. He'll be pleased with that. That's a really, really good improvement. Oh, hang on. My timing screen is showing 2 Doyles. What am I missing there? Have we got 2 Doyles? We do. Oh, we do have 2 Doyles. Okay. I didn't even realise at the time. Apologies for that. That's gonna be awkward later, isn't it? Right, on board with Verchez in that bright pink Audi. Never gonna miss it, and a good bright colour's probably gonna do him a favour this evening. He's thundering toward the line. Currently running in 19th place. Small improvement up to 18th place. Any improvement is a good improvement, though. Again, the Audi just sounds so good, doesn't it? It's just so noisy. It sounds like a proper race car. I know these are all proper race cars, but just that wail just sounds fantastic. Throwing it in again. What sort of improvements are we going to see? See a really nice, tight, tidy line there from the Audi. Seems to be able to hold it quite well. How much curb is he going to take? Not a lot, but doesn't need to take that much exit either. He manages to hold it together. So again, he's looking quick. Oh, he's maybe just held on to that bit of a slide, but managed to correct it. So Verchez really, really pushing it. Hard of the brakes for the hairpin. Looks fairly tidy there. Pretty decent on the exit. Again, you see, he actually went all the way over the right-hand side of the circuit there and then moved back to the middle to set himself up for 200R. Again, just hammers past. Okay, so on board with the number 777 BMW of Sabata. Going towards the end of his lap. Currently running in 28th position. So just coming through the Casio Triangle, which is just the best name ever for a corner, isn't it really, the Casio Triangle? I'm wearing a Casio as we speak. So thunder into the line. What's he going to get? The BMW stretching its legs now. Currently, he's in 28th place. Any improvement? 24th place. Really good effort by him. Gets himself in front of a few more AM drivers as well. That's the most important bit. That's on board with Dunster. Kind of before the Porsche. Red, black and white livery. One of the Pirate Racing Academy drivers. Looking pretty well planted there, it has to be said. There's about 3 minutes left of qualifying at the moment, so... Ooh, someone going off in front of him, but... Yeah, Dunster holds it together. So quite luckily, there's not too many super high curbs here to try and spit the Porsche out. It seems to be looking pretty solid. So, flying into the hairpin. What's his line like? Oh, very deep on the exit. He'll be displeased with that. I think he may have slightly outbroke himself and went very deep into the turn. And while trying to get the power back on, it looked like he just could not get the front end to grip again. So I doubt we'll see an improvement, but possibly he's still going for it. He hasn't bailed out of the lap, so he obviously thinks he can improve. So a little bit of a clip on that first. Oh dear. And that's a big old slide. Wants to avoid that gravel. No, he's gone into it. Okay, so on board with Levi. One of our AM drivers, car number 50 in the orange and grey or orange and silver Aston Martin. Good to see an Aston Martin out there on the field. So currently running in 23rd position. And let's just see what kind of things he can do. Looking really good here through the S's, to be fair. It looks fairly well planted. Again, you can just see that dry line, or drier line appearing. But it does mean it's going to make overtaking a lot more difficult. If you've got to come off that optimum line, you've got to go through the wet. Oh, throws it in early and manages to get the car to slide through. It'll be interesting to see what line he takes here. Loads of inside curb. Great exit by him. Some really, really heroic stuff going on here. Again, throws it in. What's he going to be like at the chicane, like the hairpin? Middle of the circuit. So maybe able to carry a little bit more speed through, maybe give him a bit more exit speed. Seems to be holding on to it reasonably well for 200R. And what are we going to get at the end of the straight? I think he's just held on to it, kept it within track limits. I don't think there was any further he could have gone out. And he just holds on to it on the exit as well. If he managed to do that while using his full racing speed, I mean, that is the optimum line. One of the BMWs minding out of his way. So what can he do at 130R? It looks like he's really, really pushing. Massive chunk of inside curb, and again, just possibly held on to the track limits. Hard the brakes into the chicane. Oh, I think that may have almost been a little bit too much curb, possibly. We'll see if there's an improvement. There's not. He's into the pits. So, practicing into the pits. And that is qualifying complete. Right, so a few people left to come in. Tom Zetich there, bailing out of a lap. On board with Buck now. Oh, pushing hard. Big power slide out of 130. Oh no, where was that? That is... Oh, that was Dunlop, wasn't it? Yeah, that was Dunlop. So fair play for holding on to it there. Very odd bit of the circuit to try and hold on to the car. Right, there we go. Qualifying over.
Alright, conditions are wet. We have some slippery curves and also watch out for your braking distance.
As you just heard, it is wet out there, ladies and gentlemen. It is moist as it gets. let's run through this grid order, shall we? Right, on... Oh, that's something we missed. I didn't notice that. I was too busy watching everyone else racing. Miksic puts himself on pole position with D'Couza running in second, so it's a Porsche 1-2. Bullion in third and Borovec in fourth, so third and fourth for both BMWs. Dan Minton putting the Bentley in fifth place. Van Coley, car number 55, the BMW in sixth place. Seventh place is D. Doyle. 8th place is Mex, 9th is Brooker, and 10th is Vermeulen. Should quickly say that obviously D. Doyle is the leading AM driver at the moment. So then Venter in 12th place, Concoli in 13th, 14th is Shoot, 15th is Buck, Bellato in 16th place. He'll be disappointed with that. He was fairly up on the grid last week. 17th is Greening. Langdijk is 18th. Virches 19th. Noble in 20th. Robson 21st. Zikovic in 22nd place. Levi 23rd. And 24th is Sabata. So a nice mix there. It does look like the BMW and the Porsche is pretty strong here this evening. Again, though, that was only qualifying. Everything changes when the race comes. Very different thing qualifying than it comes to actual racing. Oh, and there's more. Sorry, I do apologise. Bullion in 25th place. Dupries in 26th place. Dunster in 27th. Winkler in 28th. Tonzetic in 29th. Van der Haar in 30th. And then we've got two cars appearing off the grid, and that is Ivo Mugellovic and Marko Mugellovic. Neither of those guys have qualified. And obviously the little safety car, just a little cheeky safety car. It's there. It's in the pits. Very wet circuit, so possibly going to see a visit from the safety car this evening. Who knows? And I imagine we'll hear the dominating voice of race control will come through at some point to dish out the penalties if needed. So not long until race start. I believe we are going to run an ad probably pretty soon. So do stick with us and we should be back. Right, so we are back. Everybody just on the out warming lap at the moment. Going to be a very difficult one to try and get any meaningful temperature in the tyres before the end of this lap is over. Miksic should be very, very pleased with that effort to get himself on pole. We did actually miss the very moment it happened, so apologise to Miksic on that one. Having a quick little look at the YouTube chat. Who have we got here? Shout out to Dalibor, saying no Jean-Jic this week. No, this week, Andre Jongic, isn't it? Yes, I think that was the soft J, wasn't it? I do apologise. Still not used to that name. Steve Minton, I see you in the chat. Obviously here to shout out to Dan Minton, wishing him good luck. Yeah, really good effort by him. 5th place, putting that Bentley well up on the grid, so good to see. Mally, as always, in the chat as well. And Zach, hello guys, sadly I'll just be watching. Oh, yes, yeah, okay, this is Zach, who normally races with us. He is a VR racer, and sadly he is waiting for that to be fixed. So currently, Zach is just on screens, and so had some issues last week and decided it's best to just sit it out and wait. So fair play to him, putting other people's racing before his own. It's really, really good to see. And that's quite a large bit of the International Sim Drivers Association. It's about not just fast racing, it's about clean and fair racing as well. I mean, these guys will go toe-to-toe and they will go door-to-door. There's no funny business. There's no silly dives that are clearly going to cause an accident, because here at ISDA we have the live stewarding, and then obviously we have the safety car as well. So two very interesting things that come into play. I am yet to witness the safety car. I somehow have missed the safety car every time it comes out to play. So I'm not saying I hope it comes out, but it'd be nice to maybe have a little look-see at it. The little beautiful little banana that is the safety car Audi. So coming on the back straight now. Everyone's stacking up. They're still in single file at the moment, but there you go. Now starting to get into their box positions. So Mixich will be hoping to get a really, really good start here. Hopefully that rear engine, rear wheel drive combo can give him what he needs. We saw a great start last week from Mex, and also a great start from Shoot last week. So we may see some improvements from them as well. Here we go, stacking up that final run to the line. D. Doyle's got himself in a lovely position there, to be fair, with quite a few cars between him and his next rival. So Mixich slowing the grid down to the correct speed, rolls towards the line, lights are going to go green any moment. Oh, that's a beautiful sight. All those GT3 cars on that grid, all lined up. Any moment now it's going to go green.
Green light.
Lights out, they are off, and it does look like a fairly good start from Mixich. No one really making any major dives anywhere, but they are 3 wide a bit further back in the grid. It's very wet. It'll be interesting to see if everyone would hold on to their positions. Mixich holds on to it. Dakusa holds on to it as well. I think everyone sort of at the front of the pack has managed to keep themselves in the right kind of place. Oh, there is one car off, kind of a 51, but I think he's got himself moving. That's Concoli. He is moving again. But he has managed to keep himself going, so that's the important thing. I can't see an abundance of damage. So Mixich already trying to pull away Dakusa in tight suit. Bouillon is going to be hoping to hold on to the back of him as well. Dan Minton already looks like he's sniffing around the back of... Oh, let the time board sort himself out. It was Borovich, wasn't it? But let the timing's been sorted itself. And he is already there and looking like he wants to go past. Yes, already on the back of Borovich. So again, this is going to be a real tight one. The hairpin lap one, always going to be busy. Great exit by him then. You can barely hear the traction control cutting in. He managed to just roll the throttle on perfect amount. And you can see the visibility is seriously limited. And just, oh, who's that off? That was one of the BMWs. Managed to keep it together though. Was that our leading BMW? The Bouillon, maybe? So on board with, yeah, I think it was Bouillon that may have gone wide then. Or possibly, yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. Went on the grass but managed to keep it together. Or it may have been, yeah, maybe it was Van Coley, because it was one of the yellow and black BMWs. There's quite a few quite similar liveried BMWs. And he looks like he's under attack from Doyle there. Manages to hold on to it again. This is their outlap, so the tyres are probably still reasonably cold. But Mixich manages to hold on to it for one lap. And stretches out the lead. He's going full tilt. He's not defending. He is just going for it. If he can get away now, that is a huge bonus. But everyone right behind him. The car's still close enough. They're all absolutely in the tow for each other, aren't they? Oh, a mistake from Dakusa deep on turn 1. Can he hold it together? He's got Bouillon trying to go up the inside. And he's lost a few positions. Now down into possibly Borovich goes around the outside, down to the 4th now. Dan Minton going to be trying to look to take advantage of this as well and see if he can get by. Borovich probably rubbing his hands and thinking, great bit of defence for me. But a mistake there from Dakusa into turn 1, very easy to do. Get on the brakes a little bit late. You end up washing quite deep on that turn, and the apex just keeps going away from you. So he is now all over the back of Borovic, who has inherited 3rd place. That could have gone a lot worse for him. He could have lost a lot more positions. And that just means that Miksic is even further away, not having to worry about defending. He could just keep pushing. And I imagine Dakusa would be kicking himself about that, because it's one of those easy mistakes you can make. And now he's got another couple of cars to try and break his way through if he wants pole. With that rear wing, you can see the amount of spray coming off the back of Dakusa. Absolutely blinding as you're on this circuit. Much tighter line than the BMW in front of him. Yeah, but very similar apex point there as they're coming onto the back straight. Everyone just starting to spread out a little bit now. Oh, someone's gone off at the exit of Spoon. It's Buck. Buck has gone off. So having to wait for the traffic to clear slightly so we can get back on. Fastest lap of the race, evidently, though, by Levi, who is running in 21st place. Who is it? Van Coley, who is just... Right, here we go. Oh, big slide at 130R. Really well saved, though, to be fair. That could have been a lot worse. Managing to not collect anyone and managed to stay out of the tyre walls. Looked like he got himself back in there just in front of Brooker. 130 Porsche, so he'll be pretty pleased with that. That could have gone a lot worse, but now down in 11th place. So it's a tough old life at the front of the grid. You've got to be so quick and consistent. It's not just your outright speed, it's your consistency. And that's the difference a lot of the time between qualifying and race pace. You know, you're running a lot more fuel, the setup might be slightly different, you might run a slightly softer setup, and you're dealing with the lack of visibility. So on board with Dan Benton, currently being in 5th position. It does look like the Dakusa's managing to pull away from it ever so slightly, but nothing majorly. We have seen it quite a few times that the Bentley takes a little bit longer to turn the tyres on than some other cars, but then once those tyres are up to temp...
This is race control, lap 1, turns 1 and 2 under investigation. Over.
So there we hear the great voice of race control. Turn 1, turn 2, under investigation. So we saw the Audi go off there earlier, so it was Virtues we saw recovering. So we'll see what happened there. It just always... Oh, Bouillon in 2nd place goes super wide at Spoon. Manages to recover the car and get himself going again without losing too much time. But I would imagine he has picked himself up a track limit warning for that one. He was very deep. He was very lucky as well. That can be a very slippery part of the circuit as well. And he's actually now, looks like he went slightly defensive there. He moved off the racing line so that Borovic was not able to get the toe. I don't think Borovic is really close enough to gain any kind of advantage from the toe. But we'll have to wait and see and keep an eye on them for a few more laps and see what happens. Oh, subsequently, Bouillon has now taken the fastest lap of the race. So, keeping an eye... Oh, Dakusa now puts in the fastest lap of the race. So, the guys are definitely improving those tyres, switching on as they go. I apologise in advance if I'm a little bit more nasally than normal. I do say sorry about this one. I have a child, so I'm always continually getting sick and poorly. So, Bouillon coming through this first series of S's does look like he's able to ever so slightly close up on the back of Miksic. We hear them up and down the gears hunting the grip as they come through Dunlop. Long left-hander followed by these two very swift right-handers. And very similar lines there. Yeah, everyone through there beautifully. This top 5 definitely starting to break away from the pack. And Doyle, the leaning arm driver, he's not near the back of him, but he's not within striking distance. But he has definitely broken away from everyone else. Say our leading arm driver Doyle in 6th place, and then 2nd place our driver is Greening down in 14th. So as long as Doyle can keep it together and not make a mistake, he's reasonably safe. But back on board with Bullion, up at Spoon. That's a much, much better line by him this time round. Again, you can see in the spray just how little you can see. So up towards 130 yards, really gaining on the back of that Porsche quickly there. Goodness gracious, on those straights, he's just dominating it. Is Bullion going to be close enough to possibly attack slightly here at the end of the pit straight? Rolling on the throttle, trying to get the power down. Oh, a bit of a slide. That is not what he wants. Any advantage he had coming through the exit of the chicane has now gone. It's all down to pure overall speed. He does have a little look up the inside, but nothing, no moves made there. So coming through the S's again, you see trying to get on the throttle. The car just squirms slightly. This top 5 continuing to pull away from the rest of the pack. You just see they're avoiding those curves, not running too much on the inside. You don't want to over-rotate the car or push yourself out wide on the exit. So now coming through Dunlop, really trying to wind the power on as much as possible. In the dry, this will be completely flat out. But it wouldn't surprise me if the guys are having to vary the throttle ever so slightly here in the wet. Throws it in. Another beautiful set of curbs there. Coming up towards the hairpin. This quick right-hander followed by that harsh left-hand hairpin. And Miksic looks like he got a pretty good line. I think Bullion may have had a slightly better line. He is pretty close. If he can hold it together, gather as much pace as he can along here, take advantage of that BMW's top ending compared to the Porsche. If he can then hold it together through Spoon, we might see him in a position at the end of this lap, or possibly next lap. Oh, and he's gone deep again. Gone very deep. Again, it's going to be the issue of, if he goes too deep there that too many times, he might end up with a drive-through. Himself Miksic totally unfazed, just constantly putting in these laps. Little clip on the inside, managed to avoid the outside curb this time round. Palm on the brakes, swings it into the chicane. And so there you go, like, Bullion's pretty close, but not close enough to really make a move. Wider line this time. Oh, Bellato with a stop-go 10-second penalty just appeared.
This is race control. Car number 15 gets a stop and go 10 seconds for causing a collision. Lap 1.
Oh, so there's an incident. That was between... I think that was the recovering... I think one of the recovering BMWs caused... rotated the car at number 15. Then 15 had a bit of a dodgy rejoin as well there. And did cause an issue. I think Virtue's getting into the side of him. I'm trying to work out which BMW that was that was rejoining. I think it was Vancoli, possibly the 55 BMW. Yes, it was. Yes, I think it was Vancoli. Hit the back of the number 15. I'm sure it was number 15, wasn't it? Yeah, of Bellato. So things going from bad to worse there for Bellato. Picked up a 10-second penalty. 10 second. And also then was rotated coming into the chicane. Oh, someone off on the inside of the circuit. Who was that? That is Bullion. Oh, and it's all gone wrong for Bullion. I think he went deep. Oh, and he's got himself stuck in a nasty spot, trying to rejoin the circuit there. Yes. Went deep, ended up on the grass on the inside of the chicane, trying to get himself out of the way and over-rotated the car, and then's got himself caught against the curb. Not sure what's going on there, not seeing massive amounts of steering wheel input, but he is back out there. But lost a lot of positions. Oh, it's dicey. So Bullion is now running. He's a long way back, isn't he? Car number 58. Wait for the tyre to sort itself out. See, so come on, sort your life out, buddy. timing board. He's really struggling. There is something not right with that car, I don't think. Oh, and Mugellovic, number 7, who Marko Mugellovic, who we saw start from the pits, not having a good time out there either this evening in the Macca. Down in 31st place. Oh, another big slide. I think he's actually in 32nd now when the timing board sorts itself out. So Verchez in that 806 Audi, who we saw have an incident on lap 1. No, not sorry. That's a different car, isn't it? Sorry, my bad. That was the wrong car. It was Tom Zetic who got spun on lap 1, and then it was Verchez who had the incident where I believe he almost collided with a recovering car number 15 on the previous lap. You see going ever so slightly deep there, and then having to recover, trying to get off the brakes and try and roll it back on. See through Dunlop, it is still raining harder and harder. That spray is immense. The drive line is almost starting to disappear from the circuit now. Everyone being very brave through the apexes. Really nicely now though, rolling on throttle, seeing what we can do here. Coming towards the hairpin. Slightly wider entry, possibly going to try and get the cut back on Greening. And Greening, a driver that did really quite well last week as well. Thundering through up towards Spoon. Any chance of a manoeuvre here? No, I don't think so. What can he line up? What can he sort? A little bit of a slightly wider line by him. Greening looks to be slightly more conservative there. But is that going to be to his detriment? We've also got Sikovic in front of them as well. These three pretty close together. I think if Verchez can make a move on Greening, I reckon he might then be able to take the fight to Sikovic. Oh, a little bit of a mistake there from Brooker on the exit. Lucky he had a little tiny bit of oversteer. It'll be those kinds of mistakes that Verchez will be looking to take advantage of. So down onto the pit straight. Sitting in the toe. Is he close enough? I don't think he's gaining anything, but he's not losing any ground. It will have to be a very, very brave move on the brakes. It does close up. I think actually he may have even panicked slightly as he got on the brakes. He goes a little bit deep in that first part of the turn. It's a double apex turn 1. It's a very odd corner. Oh, and there's a mistake from Sikovic. He's rejoined, but it's a bit of a brave one from him. I know it's wet, so he probably... Oh, Otto Winkler is... Where is that? That is the... Oh, that's the final turn. He just went a bit wide and then put a tyre on the grass. Looks like he actually managed to avoid any real damage. Yeah, no one struck him, so that's a huge bonus for him. But not quite able to make the turn, and he is now down in 32nd place. He will be very disappointed by that. Oh, Marko Mugellovic off again. So the Mugellovic brothers are slowly gaining position, if only because of other people's faults. But Takuza will be happy, back up into 3rd place. So on board with Borovic at the moment, car number 22. Again, was happily running in 3rd place earlier, and then obviously we saw goodness, trying to think which one it was. There's so many. Bouillon, he went off earlier, so real loss for Bouillon. Had 20th place? 20th place? Yes. Oh, and to be fair, Borovic looks like he is taking the fight to Mixic. Possibly a move here. Oh, he's flashing the lights. He's letting him know that he is coming for him. Just over 15 minutes of the race done, so they've still got 42 minutes left to go. Oh, but Borovic goes deep at turn 1. Just about manages to hold on to it. And that's allowed Dakusa to maybe close up the gap slightly. Oh, car number 36 of Lang Dyke is off as well. Nasty place to be off there. Oh, and there was a big incident. Oh, that's going to be one for race control to look at. It wasn't enough of a snapshot to see what really happened, but that's a lot of damage as well. So even if he can get the car going again, he is going to have lost a lot of positions, and I imagine he's got to pit. Yes, straight into the pits for him. I'm trying to see if anyone else joins in the pits, see if anyone else picked up damage. So we definitely see Lang Dyke in there. Doyle still running in 7th place. And he's got quite a few of the big guns from the pro category coming up behind him now. He's got Mex, Vancoli and Brooker all behind him, and those guys, we have seen them way up the grid. In fact, did he go deep there? I think he did. He's gone wide. He's letting them through, I think, or as best as he can. Maybe not. Mex has not got through, and neither is a recovering Vancoli. I thought he went deep to let them through, but no one really seemed to take advantage of that. So Doyle, the leading AM driver, 7th place at the moment, using every last inch of circuit. I would be sweating if I was him and I had Mex behind him. Mex is a very fast driver. He will not be hanging around. If there is a place to pass, he will get it done. That great big Mercedes thunder its way on past. On board with Mex now. He's looking at the inside of the 130R. That's a brave place to try and do it. Oh, all three of them go really deep. Everyone went very deep there. Everyone got their braking right at that point. So Mex actually lost a position in all of that. And Vancoli managed to recover a position, but he did also go out really wide. And Brooker now on the back of Mex. Not at all what Mex would have wanted. It looked like Mex was going to be able to make the move, but I think he outflicked himself slightly, and so did Doyle as well, but everyone manages to keep out of trouble and not hit anyone, so that was a big bonus that no one actually collided, but that was a brave old move into 130R in the wet. And here we go, and you see Doyle just starting to pull away ever so slightly. Still on board with Vancoli at the moment. Mex looking to the inside. That's brave. He gets it done. That was some nail-biting stuff. So Mex back in front of Vancoli, but Vancoli not giving up the fight. Clearly not willing to just give up that easy. Tries to go to the outside at the hairpin. Maybe trying to get a switch back. Not sure. He's not able to. But he's much quicker out the turn. Not sure if there was contact there or not. It definitely got very close. Up into Spoon on the brakes. Mex goes a little bit deep. That's going to definitely have messed up his exit. But nearly. I think Vancoli almost had a slight over-rotation there, but managed to hold it together. Sitting in tail of Mex, hoping to get the toe up the back straight, hitting 130 yards. You can barely see the brake lights through the wet. The tiniest touch of the brakes there from Vancoli as well. And you can see he is piling the pressure onto Mex, trying to put the pressure on, trying to unsettle him, force a mistake from Mex. And while these guys squabble, the Doyles are escaping. Coming down into turn 1 again, the strange double apex. Oh, and Vancoli outbrakes himself, and Brooker surely, yes, Brooker goes, thank you very much, I'll take that one from you. And I imagine Mex will look in his mirror and go, it's another black and yellow car. They're endless. So who we have here? We have Dupree's currently running in 23rd place. and he's got quite a few people behind him. Concoli right up the... Oh, no, sorry. He is right on the back of Tonzetic, sorry, and Concoli is right behind him. All these cars look like they're carrying a little bit of damage. I think it was Concoli who we saw off. Oh, yeah, it was Concoli who we saw off on lap 1, turn 1, wasn't it? So he probably is carrying some damage. Dupree defending quite well from Concoli. This is AM driver versus pro, so they're technically not battling for position. He's pushing through hard. Okay, so back with the lead pack now. Nixic being chased down by Borovic. This gap is definitely coming down. We saw a flash of the lights from him earlier, but I really don't think it's going to be that long until we possibly see a move made by Borovic. Oh, a little bit messy on the exit there with 130. But through the chicane, here we go. Who's got the better exit? Who's got a final turn the best? Who, to be fair, it looks like Mixic's got a really good run through the chicane and exit. Looked like it was pretty good. About half a second between them at the moment. Oh! And Mixich went really, really wide on entry, and he's made a mistake. He's pushed deep. He went onto the grass, picked up a load of debris that would have affected his tyres when he came to turn in. And Borovic has gifted the position. Borovic just cruised on by, and that mistake from Mixich, he will be kicking himself. Just under 25 minutes of the race completed now, so he's nearing the halfway mark, and that's the first foot he has put wrong, obviously feeling the pressure from Borovic, who is pushing on hard. He is determined to try and get past. Have a quick look at we had Borovic running in 9th place, did a first and a 7th place finish.
The pit is now open.
So, pit window is now finally opened. We've got 10 minutes to get their pit done. So we're going to see a little bit of a rummage and a go. See, car number 2 is in the pits, but I think they went in before the pit window opened. Oh, Mixich off the track and in the wall. He is motionless, so gone from first place, dropping down. What happened here?
Race control, lap 1, turn 13. Car number 13 gets a 15-second time penalty for causing a collision with car 764. Car number 39 gets a 5 seconds for causing collision and unsafe rejoin with 886 at lap 2 hairpin. Cars number 2 and number 806 at lap 2 turn 12 get a 15-second time penalty for causing a collision and incident response each. Over.
Right, so as we hear, they are starting to pile in. Mixich really, really unlucky with that one. Just over-rotated on the exit and ended up colliding with the barrier. Luckily didn't get anyone else involved in the incident. It was one of those very easy crashes where it could have all gone wrong. But he'll be kicking himself. It just went from a perfect race to suddenly now hemorrhaging positions while he sits there in the pit. So it looked like an oversteer on the exit, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what we can get. Might be able to hear from him. You never know. You can hope that we might get. While he's sat in the pits waiting for repair, we might be able to find out what's gone on there. But people diving into the pits now. D. Doyle in, Brooker in, Vancoli in, Robson in, Noble in. Everybody diving into the pits at the moment. So everyone coming in to get their positions sorted. So Borovic on pole, Dakuza second, Dan Minton third at the moment. Oh, Dan Minton goes deep there though onto the grass. As you can see, quite a few of the penalties rolling in now.
This is race control. Car number 89 gets a stop and go 10 seconds for a lap 2 in the chicane, causing a collision with car 82. Over.
And there we go, another one coming in. So that is Dupree in the number 89. Picked up that stop-go penalty, 10 seconds. And it's a killer. It's a killer to do those runs. So our first driver, it looks like, that's completed a pit stop and is back out is Brooker. So car number 130, that black and yellow that we saw earlier. Our leading driver's decided to stay out. Kuza sticking it out. Sorry, Minton sticking it out for now. He has got Vermeulen actually coming up behind him quite quickly. But Vermeulen obviously running with a 5-second penalty, so bit of an advantage. Oh, car number 44 off, but back on again. That looked like the exit of turn 1. So, Dan Minton starting another flying lap. Dakuza, our second place runner, into the pits. Vermeulen also into the pits. So that is 29th position, who is trying to come up behind Dan Minton there, which I did not realise. Okay, so Mixic, we just found out he had to stop racing, he had some internet issues, so he had to pull out, I'm sad to say. So disappointing for him. He might come and join us if he would like to. He can come and have an interview with us mid-race. But yeah, always disappointing. But the safest thing to do if you're having internet issues or hardware issues is, rather than battle on and possibly ruin someone else's race, is call it a day and go from there. That would explain why suddenly he was so far off the racing line on that main straight. It did seem like it was a really sort of out of character thing to do. So, but if the internet's playing up, that would not surprise me. You can suddenly appear on different parts of the circuit. So Dakuda already out there and put the fastest lap in again. So obviously fresh tyres, and he is absolutely on it immediately. So interesting to see if his tactic works. So the guys have only got 10 minutes to do their pit stops today, so no massive chance of a giant undercut, overcut strategy. But we'll see where Dakuda ends up on the grid after everyone's completed their stops in front of him. I'm going to say that Dan Minton looks like he's maybe driving slightly more conservatively. He's got nearly 5 seconds between him and Borovic on pole. That's a big old gap that's opened up there. But he's sticking out, he's staying out for longer. Oh, a bit of a slide there. Manages to correct it and keep it going. Barely lifted the throttle. I think he pretty much kept it planted the whole time. So fair play for him for managing to maintain that through that final turn. So down into turn 1. Holds it together. Looks pretty good. Coming up through the S's. Oh, putting on Dunster, picking up drive-through penalties. So it's El Billion and Dunster picking up drive-through penalties to car number 74 and car 4. And that's just popped up on the screen. Dakuta still currently running the fastest lap of the race. He held on to, he had it in the first stint, and then he's completed his pit stop and immediately come out and taken it again. So fair play that man for holding onto it. No one's managed to best him yet. But Dan Minton is losing ground to Borovic quite considerably. So it was just shy of 5 seconds when they came through the final chicane a moment ago, or last lap. So we'll see what the times look like next time round when they come through that sort of end of sector 3 and see what we get. So with the pit stops, our leading driver that has pitted is Dakuza. Our current on-track leading driver is Borovic. And he's going up towards the end of his lap. He's just got 130R on the chicane to go. So cleanly through 130R. Hard on the brakes. Are we going to see him pit? So, to be fair, Dan Minton holding onto the back of him, ever so slightly improved his gap, actually, this time. So there we go. Borovec in. Is Minton going to follow him in, or is he going to try and do one more lap? Follows him in as well. So, Borovec and Minton both into the pits. Doyle is going to inherit the lead. He's also going into the pits. So, Shoot is going to inherit the lead. He's currently running in 4th place. But he does have a 15-second penalty. So, he's not going to probably hang on to that when it definitely comes to the end of the race. In fact, he's going into the pits now as well. So Shoot coming in. Oh, he hasn't actually completed his pit stop either. So Dakuza could quite possibly inherit the lead here. So Dan Minton's pit box was obviously further forward. So he's currently in 1st, but I imagine that's just because of pit box positioning. Dakuza coming through 130R there into the final chicane. Borovec has completed his pit, but is still in the pits at the moment. So it's going to be a real sprint. He's going towards the final line. He's going to be able to get on the throttle pretty soon. But Dakuza's going to have a hell of a run on him now as he joins the track. I think Dakuza's going to take 2nd place. Here comes Dakuza. Where is he? He's definitely taken back up into 2nd place. Great effort by him. And there we go. Yeah. So that's Dan Minton now back in the 3rd position. Obviously wait for the timing screen to sort themselves out, but the pit stops have sent people all over the place. But while everyone's getting themselves back out on circuit, we've got Matej Miksic in the chat, so we're going to pull him in and we'll have a quick chin wag with him. Miksic, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hello, I'm very sorry to hear that you have had internet issues this evening.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw that on the leaderboards, but I had like 500 ping, and then when Borovec and Dakuza were near me, it didn't make sense to fight with them or do anything because they were teleporting like hell.
Right, okay. I did notice we were watching you from one of the cameras, and when you were on that pit straight, you sort of seemingly went off the track to the left-hand side onto the grass, which seemed slightly obscure, but if you're having internet issues, that can quite easily happen because the game just decides you're a foot or two to the left when you're not. So you were seeing something different than we saw, I think, at that moment, because it looked on screen like you were fairly consistent, but obviously, yeah, when you're actually there racing, if you're having internet issues, nothing worse than that. So probably did the best thing to retire at that point.
Yeah, shame, but I mean, it would be even more terrible if I ruined.
Number 7 gets a 10-second time penalty for lap 6, turn 12, dangerous region.
Carry on. It got cut off there by race control, so carry on.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, it would be even more dangerous to race with them and ruin someone's race because my city doesn't want to have normal, stable connection, and this is better, I think.
Yeah, it's definitely better. At least this way, yes, you're not going to finish, but at least you don't carry over a penalty into next race, and you haven't sort of ruined anyone else's night and stuff. So it's sad to see you off the grid, but it's definitely the best decision to make.
Yeah, it's a shame. I would love to finish it, but it doesn't make sense really.
No, I mean, your pace was fantastic as well. Sort of, we're saying the whole way through that you just maintained this constant pace. Marko Miljevic off again. Really not going well for him this evening in that Macca. Obviously started from the pits, and then what happens here? Does he just over-rotate? Oh, clips. Yeah, just a slight clip of the curb, and then a long slide, and then off the circuit. So the McLaren not looking like it's a particularly happy car this evening. But
yeah, there is a lot of rain today in the race. It's pretty.
Yeah,
I mean,
it looked like during qualifying that there was maybe a slight dry line, but the longer this race is going on for, say only 22 minutes left of the race, there just doesn't appear to be any dry line whatsoever. And especially when you guys are fighting close, the amount of spray coming off the cars in front of you is absolutely blinding. You're basically just racing against brake lights. So, I mean, you obviously being on pole position, you luckily you didn't have to battle with too much spray apart from the odd back marker. But I mean, it was like a masterclass, which is a real shame that you can't finish, but it was so clean. How did the Porsche handle Suzuka?
Oh, I don't know what to tell you. It's really dangerous and it slides all the time. You need to drive it like you stole it. I don't know. You need to just turn and pray.
This is race control. Car number 25 gets a 15-second time penalty for causing a collision with car 68 on lap 8, turn 13. Over.
Oh, another incident.
Yeah, coming through. I mean, it's a wet race, so we're always expecting to see a few things. Oh, Virtue has just seen at... Ooh, where's that? That is... Oh, that was the end of Dunlop. He went wide and then hasn't recovered and then slid off and ended up in the gravel at the end of Degens. I can never pronounce that name, so I'm not even going to try it. Ooh. But gets himself back on track. So Virtue's back out there now, running in 17th place. But so you're not the only one that's had a bit of an all over the place kind of race. We've had people that have been very near the front of the grid and have dropped back due to incidents or penalties and stuff. So at least you can sort of hold your head high and say that you're retiring from the race without any kind of penalties. Oh, and car number 777 off as well. Sabata, he's off as well at the hairpin. It's a hard place to rejoin, but I think he's done it. Yeah, just about got himself back on the track without any incidents. So now obviously that you're not on the pole position, who do you think is going to be able to take it all the way to the end? We've got Borovic in first, Dakuza in second and still holding the fastest lap of the race, and then Dan Minton in third. Do you think it's going to be one of them guys that takes it all the way to the win?
Yeah, possibly. If it's still raining like this and doesn't get drier, maybe Borovic has a chance. But I think Dakuza, if it gets drier, has more pace in that car.
Okay.
Because if it's even a little bit drier, then Porsches are very good on this track.
Right, okay. So he'll be hoping for a little bit of slightly drier weather. I think 20 minutes left. I don't think the track's ever going to go dry at this point, even if the rain stops now. But yeah, possibly might ease off ever so slightly. And say we were warned there might be a bit of a monsoon, and I would say we're pretty much there this evening. It is a very, very flooded circuit.
Yeah, there is missing a lot of grip. It's pretty hard to drive it now. I can see Dakuza now driving. He has the same problems as I had when they were catching me. A lot of unnecessary understeer from the rain, and that's very hard to control.
Well, they say the Porsche does struggle anyway with understeer, doesn't it? Sort of depending on how much fuel and load you've got on the car. I mean, I was amazed how well it had gone so far through the race. So I suppose as a fellow Porsche driver, you'll be cheering on Dakuza, I would imagine.
Yeah, the first three I love to see them race because they're fantastic racers. Even more of them until I think even P10, they're awesome drivers. So it will be fun to watch the last 18 minutes.
Yeah, at least you've got a decent race to finish off watching. And I think Marko Mugellovic has gone off again. I think that's at 130R and then put the back end into the barrier. So that's a very, very damaged car. He's limping his way into the pits. Right, we're going to get back to the track action. Thank you ever so much for joining us in the pit box and having a good chat with us and letting us know what's going on. Hopefully everything's up and stable again for next week. I know how bad it is to have a bad internet. That's why I've barely been able to commentate this season, is due to waiting for my internet to get set up in my new house. So,
it's so frustrating, I know.
It's one of those things that's totally out of your control as well, isn't it? It's nothing you can upgrade. There's nothing you can do. You're at the will of a giant internet company. But we are going to cut back to the track action now. We have the battle for 8th going on. So thank you ever so much for joining us, and hopefully the next round for you goes a little bit smoother.
Cool. So thank you guys very much.
No worries.
See you guys. Bye.
Cheers. Right, so this is the battle for 8th place overall, but the most important bit is this is the lead AM battle. So this is for first position in AM. So it's Levi versus Venter. And Venter gets his nose up the inside there. He's going to be on the outside possibly. No, doesn't get the exit. Levi gets the better exit. And all while this is going on, Van Coley, who we saw at the very, very front of the grid earlier, is now caught up with the back of these two, but obviously they're battling for position, so they're not going to give up that easily, and there's no blue flags. They don't technically have to get out of the way. And neither of them will want to give an inch in case they end up losing something to the guy in front. Venter really trying to put the pressure on. Are we going to see anything here into 130R? Car number 806 was off the track right in front of them, so it'll be interesting to see where he's rejoining, or where that car is. Can't actually see it. I don't know if it's disappeared or what happened there, but it's got itself going. Car number 42, Venter really the aggressor here, trying to find a way through. He knows he's quicker than Levi. We've seen him catching up fairly consistently the whole way through, as the Kovic with the yellow flag there. That was on the exit of 130. Oh no, that was on the exit of... That was 130R, I think. Yes, it was. We saw him go off as well. That very fast corner, catching people out in the wet. But Venter coming through the S's on the back of the Aston Martin there, as close as he can get, blinded by the spray. So hard to follow and find a way past in the spray, because you want to gain and get up behind as quickly as you can, but you don't want to end up bumping the back of the car in front. Levi just defending great, a little bit wide there on the apex, a little bit of a mistake. That's going to simply hold him up here through Dunlop, but it just... Who can get the most power on? Oh, what a mistake from Venter. Goes a little bit wide, puts a tyre on the grass. That's going to lose him a lot of momentum. He's holding off Vancoli at the moment, but he's now going to be feeling the pressure of Vancoli. If he can't pull away quickly, it might almost pay him better to let Vancoli through, so he can then push forward, take the fight to Levi, and he can chase him through. But no, Venter keeping himself inside the top 10, really determined. Oh! I thought that was a huge mistake from Levi, but it wasn't. A little bit of an internet issue there, I think, happened. He was off the circuit and then back on pretty quickly. But these three absolutely neck and neck. The battle for 8th place is on and furious at the moment. Borovic still well out in front with a 5.2 second lead. We'll be very pleased with that. Any chance of a move here? End of the back straight. Can we see a challenge? Not going to be close enough here through 130R. It's really who is the bravest through here and setting you up for the chicane. Oh, it looked like the BMWs were a bit braver. They went a bit deeper on the exit. What can he do? He's right on the back of him here now. If he can stick with him down the pit straight, he should have enough grunt to get past him. He's quicker through the S's, he just needs to get past. As soon as he can get side by side with Levi, he should be able to take pole position from him. Oh, and there's a mistake from Levi. Very deep. And Venter goes to the inside. Yep, nicely done. Oh, hasn't got it completely done though, I don't think, by turn 3. Yes, he has. Shuts the door on Levi, gets the work done, pushing through. And now he's just got to try and extend the lead. Don't get held up defending, just try and push away. Very difficult to not go defensive immediately. Just got to try and run with his confidence, give it as much as possible. Doesn't want to make the same mistake as last lap. He went a bit deep here on the exit and clipped the grass, but he doesn't do it this time. He manages to keep it together. Levi will be disappointed with that, down into 9th place now. Still inside the top 10 overall and 2nd place in AM class. Great effort by Venter. Levi doing really well, actually, it's got to be said. And then it's D. Doyle in 3rd place in AM class. He's a couple of cars back. There's a nice little wedge between them and quite a decent amount of time as well. Looks like the incidents have calmed down a little bit. We've still got cars in the pits there. Oh, and a bit of a mistake there from Levi again. Goes a little bit deep, runs onto that curb. But Vancoli's dropped off the back of these guys. He was really close, so obviously a slight incident for him. He's way back from Levi suddenly. And gone from being right there at the very front, well, sorry, being right there on the back of Levi, he's now dropped away. Doesn't look like Levi's got the legs to keep up with Venter. but he's certainly trying his absolute best. So trying to see championship-wise, Venter is... I'm not sure what's going on with my sheets, but I can't seem to find them. Okay, so this is car number 13. This is Shoot chasing on the back of Zakovic. This is Lexus versus Lamborghini coming down into turn 1. God, the Lamborghini so late on the brakes, a little bit too late possibly. Very respectful, leaves a bit of a gap, but obviously doesn't want to let it go completely. He's going to be, there we go, slight mistake from Shoot on the throttle, just over-rotated the car. Zakovic was able to recover that position. And so not quite able to get the move done, but now Zakovic will be quaking in his boots. He knows if he makes another slip up like that again, that Shoot will be pushing through. Oh, Tonzetic off the track at turn 1, turn 2. And what happened here? Was it just a case of outbraking himself? So goes in. What happens here then? Oh, I just got on the throttle a little bit too quick and it just over-rotated the car, and he does end up in the barrier on the inside. It is tyres, so it's not overly solid, so he might have got away with that. But he'll be a little bit disappointed with that. So back on this battle here, this is a battle for 14th place, Zakovic versus Shoot. A little bit wide on the exit there from Zakovic. So coming down the back straight towards 130R. Can anything be done? The Lexus looking to the inside. Pair of them running as wide as they dare. Now coming into the final chicane. Here we go on the brakes. Shoot manages to close up a little bit. Who's going to get the better exit? So Shoot knows if he's close enough, he can make a move into turn 1. He knows he's close, but uses every last millimetre of circuit, ends up a little bit wide. Just manages to keep it off the grass though, just on the painted line. Zakovic looks like he's going to hold on to it for another lap. Yes, he is. If he can keep it clean here, yes he can. Nicely done. Just keeps the car rolling on through. And nicely done again as they come up for another lap battle. Not a rap battle, but a lap battle. Just having a quick look at the chat. Got a shout out from Winkler. I've got a good morning from Indonesia. And also got one, let's go Brooker, Pride of the South. So where is Brooker running now? He is... I'm being really blind. Is he second place? No, I'm being very blind. 7th place, yes, 7th. Sorry. So 7th place, that is not bad whatsoever. 7th place overall, well inside the top 10. That's a good points haul again. With this battle raging on. Less than 10 minutes of the race left now. Zakovic will know there's only 8 minutes left. He'll be desperate to hold on to this position. So nicely inside the top 15. Both of them quite wide there over the painted curves, being very, very brave in the wet. I think there may have been an ever so slight over-rotation from him there, though, on exit. Not a huge one, so not enough to really put himself out, but Shoot is going to be very, very close. Yeah, Shoot moves to the inside, pulls back out of it just before the braking zone. That may have been for attacking purposes, but also just simply because he could not see a thing in that spray. So these two absolutely on each other. 0.1 between them when they crossed the beam. say, looking forward, it's going to be tight. It's just over 7 minutes of the race left now. I wonder if we could get an on board with Shoot, just to see how little view he's got. Yes, here we go. Look at that, on the dash now. You see, when he gets close to the back of the Lamborghini, just look how quickly it disappears into the spray. Ends up being very, very difficult to spot your line. The pair of them absolutely giving it great guns. Possibly a little bit too early in there from Shoot. You hear them up and down the gears, barely on the throttle here through the S's. Coming into Dunlop, who's going to be bravest? Rolling on the throttle. He can get it done. Can he keep this going? A little bit deep there from Zakovic as well on the exit. Both of them absolutely stretching everything they've got. Just over 6 minutes of the race left now. Coming up into the hairpin. Bit of a different line. Oh, goes very deep. Is he trying to set himself up a faster line on the exit? If it was, it did not work. You see, even this far back, just with the amount of rain, it's hard to see. Plus the spray, you can see why when he gets right on the back of Zakovic, he can't quite find a way round because you're suddenly blinded. I'm very aware that in the wet you cannot stop instantly if you make a mistake. And these guys will be, as much as they want the position, they will also not want to cause an incident. Or race control will be back, the great booming voice telling everyone off. 5.5 minutes left to go, so these guys have maybe got 3 laps left. I think something like that. It's about 2 minutes a lap, just over. Really good run there now by Shoot. Is he going to be able to go under braking? Zakovic went super defensive. Made his intentions pretty clear though, stuck that inside line and stayed there. And it meant that Shoot couldn't really do anything. He was going to be on the outside there, and unless he could really get his nose in front. Oh, but here we go down towards turn 1. We might see something here. He's got the legs compared to the... Oh, the nose just gets cut off, but it looks like he's gone a little bit deep, and this time Shoot will not play so nice. He will get back up the inside. He's got the run. Can he put the squeeze on him? No, he can't. He's back to the outside again. And I am amazed Shoot did not manage to hold on to it that time round. I really thought it was going to be Shoot's turn. But Zakovic, possibly his race, starting to come apart at the seams slightly here. Oh, and there's a mistake from Shoot. Possibly slightly frustrated after losing the position again. 4 minutes 19 seconds left. These two are absolutely neck and neck. They've been pushing really hard. Shoot will be desperate to get past him. He obviously knows he's got the pace, but that Lamborghini on the brakes is absolutely astonishingly good. Really close here this time through the hairpin. Oh, that's a bit of a different run. Trying a different line. Maybe got a little bit too much inside curb. Possibly to his detriment in that his exit speed was massively affected. Couldn't get the power back down. Shoot, trying to be braver on the throttle there, going a bit deeper, and oh, goes too deep at Spoon. I fear the commentator's curse is coming into play. Oh, here we go. So this is... who is it? This is Dan Minton. And who is it in front of him? That is a marker in front of him, isn't it? That's car number 55, I think. We'll know in a minute if my eyes work. My eyes aren't quick enough for that. I believe it's car number 55, which that's going to be Vanconi running in 10th place. Surely that's not 10th. Let's have a look at the old timing board. Oh, no, that's car number 39. That's Vermeulen. So I do apologise. Down into 4th place now. Vermeulen has pushed on past. Really good race for Vermeulen. He'll be very, very happy about that. He's managed to get on past him. Where is Vermeulen sitting? Vermeulen's 18th in the championship overall. His first 3 races with us were DNFs or DNSs. So it'll be a nice boost for him, and his pace obviously showing that he's really, really good. Seeing it in the chat, we've got Kiki saying, go Minton. And then fantastic pace. Yeah, to be fair, Minton has had really consistent pace the whole race. Really, really good show from him. Obviously, Dan Minton is currently our leader in the championship, and it'll be a nice finish for him as well. Miksic obviously was in second place in the championship, but obviously not finishing the race this time round due to connection issues. And Bouillon, who is, where is that? He's done in 13th place. So yeah, to be fair, Minton's going to take an absolutely fantastic chunk of points compared to his championship rivals. So just under 1 minute and 30 seconds left of the race. Can Vermeulen take the fight to Dakusa? Dakusa has been blisteringly consistent all night long. Can he keep this up, or is Vermeulen going to close in on him? Gap's about 1 second as they're coming through the S's. Oh, it's Miksic in the chat. Okie dokie. Didn't realise. So, cheering on Minton. So it's good to see a fellow racer. It's a great community here, it has to be said. And if you fancy a little bit of this type of sim racing, find us on the Discord. Everything should be in the description below the video or below the stream. If you're watching this sort of later on demand, have a little look. And if you're watching it live, maybe wait till the end of the race and then do it. You know, you don't want to miss this. 23 seconds left of the race now. Vermeulen having a big old flash of the lights that's coming up on back markers. Oh, one of the BMWs getting right out of the way, not wanting to get involved. Not sure who that is between him and Dakusa, but he's actually holding him up slightly now. And Vermeulen will be disappointed about that. I think Borovic might be actually about to cross the line any moment. He's quite a long way ahead. Car number 22. Yeah, he's just coming into the final chicane now, is Borovic. So this is going to be their last lap, I would believe. I think they'll cross the line and that's it. Borovic, really well raced by him this evening. He's done really, really well. A really consistent drive. And there we go. Borovic comes across the line. He'll be super pleased with that. Absolutely fantastic effort. So we'll see, has Dakusa held on to second place? Just waiting for the old timing boards to sort themselves out. Yes, he has. Dakusa takes second. Vermeulen third. Dan Minton fourth. Really, really well done by those guys. And actually, looking at the pro standings, that was Borovic. Oh, the streak's been broken. We'd had a different pole sitter every time, and Borovic has just broken it. Mali will be devastated. But yeah, Borovic taking first place. A brilliant drive by him all the way through. Aidan Doyle in 5th, Mex 6th, Brooker 7th across the line. The battle for 14th rages on. Shoot hasn't quite managed to get it done. Can he do it here on the final stretch? Oh, he might be able to, because there's a big mistake by Sukovic, but managing to recover, and it's going to be a sprint to the line. And I just think Sukovic is going to have this. I honestly thought it was all over. I thought the battle for 14th was done then and there, but no, it managed to go all the way to the line. These two have been battling out for quite a while. Really, really good effort by those two, and I imagine Shoot is mightily disappointed that he never quite managed to get that number 13 Lexus into where he wanted it to be. Big celebratory donuts going on in different places. But I imagine Shoot would be slightly disappointed with that one. Who hasn't crossed the line yet? Virtues Tonzetic, El Bouillon, not crossed the line quite yet. They're still out there on the circuit. Car number 44 is going to be our next... No, sorry, car number 447, I think, is our next man across the line. So that is Tonzetic. Brilliantly done by everyone involved. I say that the pole position battle overall was really, really close, and the pole position battle for Am was really, really close as well this evening. I do apologise. I know my voice has been a little bit broken, trying to sort of talk my way through and sip on water, but my voice has been pretty crunchy the whole evening, so I do apologise. Oh, the BMW's getting together to have an opportunistic photo, but they're both very damaged looking. Oh, and car number 900, the little banana's gone out. Come on, you've got to put the banana on the stream. We've got to see the little banana at least once. I fear my man on the cameras may have possibly dropped. Come back to me, Arthur. Our little banana's out there. Car number 900, he's out there on track. There he is. There's the little banana. Beautiful, catching it on the back straight. Thank you very much for cutting to him. So, safety car driver has been sat there very patiently all race long. So, just blowing off some steam and having a quick lap in the old GT4. Sounds just as good as the GT3 car, doesn't it? It sounds great. It's a great sounding little car. So going to see if any of the leaders decide they want to jump in the interview box. As always, we'll have a quick chat with them post-race if anyone wants to join us. And we'll have a little bit of a read through the old grid order and stuff. Quick thank you to all of the stewards this evening, and obviously the safety car driver, and a big shout out to my man on the cameras, Arthur, who always does a fantastic job of keeping us where the action is while I just sit here and blabber about it. So this is the penultimate round of the championship, actually, and then the final is at Brands Hatch next Thursday. So it'd be really good to anyone that's viewed us this evening, come along and watch that one as well. It's going to be really good. Turn 1 is obviously going to be exciting. If anyone's been watching the actual real life GT3 championship, Turn 1 race 1 was very, very interesting to say the least. Lots of cars off. But yeah, it was certainly something to watch. So yeah, Brands Hatch, definitely worth a watch next week. So just having the highlights up for this race. Here we see the start. It was a really good start by Mixich. Managed to hold on to his position. As we know, later in the race, it all went a little bit wrong for him. But oh, and there we go. Yeah, we saw another car number 51 get rotated and pushed off. Super unfortunate, but a predominantly clean race. And a reasonably clean turn 1, to be fair. Everyone battling their way through in these very, very wet conditions. Having a little Otto Winkler's car there, car number 82. Great livery on that car, as I said before. Kind of reminds me of sort of like a Louis Vuitton bag. You see him pushing forward past car number 89 as they cart towards Dunlop. So quite surprised, no one is trying to join us. Normally the guys are pretty keen for it, but you know, some people are slightly more shy than others, so understandable if someone doesn't want to. Trying to keep an eye on the different discords, see if anyone does decide. Come on guys, we're friendly. Oh, and that was Winkler going off. That was lap 2. So we saw Otto drop down the order quite a lot. Oh, and there was one of the Mixich brothers. Sorry, the who was that? That was, which one of the brothers was that? It was one of the brothers. I always forget which one of the brothers it is, but it was one of the brothers having a bit of an off. Paul Venter and Dunster again battling out in the wet here. Managing to pull his way on through. So this is Venter lap 3. So Sokovic versus Virches here. on how this move got made. It's possibly the longest highlight of an overtake I've ever seen. It says it's an overtake, but we're waiting to see what happens here. It must have been maybe at 130R. Nope, nothing happened apparently. Okay, this was Vermeulen versus Mex. This was lap 4. That's up the inside, I believe it's Spoon. Yeah, it gets it done. Ooh, bit of a rub there. The pair of them getting together. I'm not sure whether that was a little bit messy by the pair of them, it has to be said. But yeah, Mex was not at fault that time round. He's got the nose taken off. Takuza would come and have a chat, but has completely lost his voice. That's fair enough, Takuza. That's absolutely fair enough. So I don't think we're going to get joined by any of the lads this evening somehow. I think they've all either lost their voices or lost their nerve and don't fancy coming to join us. So this was... Who else have we got here? Let's drag that across there. So this is Tom Zetich versus Van der Haar. Oh, and this was when there was a couple of mistakes made here. So lap 6. Oh yes, this was where Shoot went wide into the grass, managed to recover, but did lose a position to Bellato. Amazed he managed to get the car back on track at that point, to be fair. I really thought that was going to be a goner, but keeping it off the barrier and back on track pretty quickly was a really good effort by him. So Venter versus Niall Bouillon. Or it might be pronounced Niall, I do apologise. But Bouillon, I believe, is the correct pronunciation of his second name. Yeah, there we go. That was when he went off out and wide at Spoon. Caught a lot of people out this evening, Spoon, has to be said. Really did catch a fair few people. So Winkler versus Ivo Miljelovic. Again, we saw that. Oh yes, look, it must have been a setup mistake, I think, from Otto this evening, because he really struggled. Yeah, and then as soon as you go on the grass, yeah, that was the incident we caught earlier. And sadly, he wasn't able to get enough steering lock to avoid the barrier. So Shoot versus Greening. It's on lap 9 of the race. So Greening, I believe, is one of our AM drivers. Yeah, and a mistake there on the exit of Dunlop. And Shoot swings on past. A nice gifted position. Another overall place gained. So this is Paul Venter. Yeah, I have to agree. I don't think anyone's coming in with us this evening, Arthur, which is a bit of a shame. So let's have a quick run through the grid order. I think we'll move away from this bit, and we'll run through the grid order as they came across the line, and then I think we'll probably call it a day because no one's wanted to join us, which is a shame, but understandable. You know, people have things to do. So this was Brooker and Van Coley. Yeah, we can see Van Coley going super deep. Right, I think we're going to call it a day at this point. No one is coming to join us in the commentary booth this evening. A bit of a shame, but never mind. Obviously, Brooker had lost his voice. So never mind on that one. Thank you ever so much for coming up and joining us as a viewer, and thank you to all our racers, stewards, and Arthur on the cameras as well. Thank you ever so much. If you are interested in watching us again, we are back on Thursday, and if you want to have a look at the Discord, come and look at the description below the video, and you should be able to find links to everything there, and a massive thank out to Sim Racing Pro as well. Thank you ever so much for being our sponsor. So that is me done this evening. Thank you ever so much, guys. I shall see you next week.